Hey, welcome back. This is Wayne with Diggin' Diesel. Kind of wrapping things up today on my QNT 30. If you've caught some of my last videos, I've been going through all the fluids on this. The unit's pretty new to me and I have a couple hours on it at this point. I've installed the air conditioning system that you can see back there, as well as changing all the fluids on it, and also installed the pilot springs just to smooth out the controls. So this is kind of the final project on it before I take it out to my property and put it to work. I was searching through my toolbox, checking to see if I could find a hex bit, and I do not have one that's quite that large. I do have a Torx bit. It's a T60. I think this one I used for seat belt removal on a vehicle at one point, but it seems to be the right size. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a try, and we'll see if it'll break it free. Like everything else on this excavator, nothing seemed to be extremely tight, so this should do the trick. All right, it broke free. Doesn't look to be too long, maybe 2 inches. I'm gonna go buy all new hardware for these. Since I have this part, I'm gonna change all 4 of them, go to some grade 8 hardware with a standard type head on it, make it a little bit easier in the future for servicing it. So go ahead and pull the second one off. I'm test fitting the plate, went ahead and put it on here, put the bolts on. I do see a little bit of an issue. These are really designed for the 1 to 1.5 ton machines. The bolt spacing is the same on them. I think most of these drive motors are going to be very similar on these Chinese excavators, but the track is a little bit wider on this since it technically is at least a 2-ton machine. On one of my previous videos I went into the weight on this. It's really advertised as a 3-ton, but being a 2-ton, it does have a slightly wider track. So the issue that I do see at this point is the plate leans up on the actual track itself. So I'm going to have to space this out. Looks like I'd say about a good 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to pick up a bunch of fender washers to go ahead and space it out and make sure that I get a bolt that's at least a 1/2 inch longer than the ones that came with it. Just got back, ran to Lowe's, ran to Home Depot. Neither of them carried the large enough diameter bolt. This is an M14 by 2. The length on this one's a 3 inch, and that's for this side where I got the fender washers. I'm going to end up running 3 fender washers, and then that gets me about the tip of my pinky gap between the bracket here and the actual drive belt. The ones that I got for on the front here, they're a 2.5 inch on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this pulled apart. I'm going to change out these front 2 bolts first, and then I'm going to take the bracket, clean it up with some brake clean, scuff it with the Scotch-Brite, and then get some paint on there. That way it doesn't rust right away. I know it's going to get beat up a little bit sitting so low to the ground, but I'm going to do what I can right now to get it done right. So face to face on that is 33 3/4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll cut that bar stock to that length, and then we'll go ahead and test fit everything. Once I can confirm that everything is good, then I'll go ahead and get everything prepped and ready for paint. I'm giving it a test fit right now. Went ahead and just used the factory bolt on it. Don't need the full length one at this point. Just want to make sure everything's gonna be where it needs to be before putting paint on it. All right, just a little bit of play back and forth. I wanted a little room to make sure it would fit in there. Ultimately, you can end up welding it in place, but I just want to make sure that it's going to stay between these 2 drive motors without slipping back further to the point where it can actually rub on the tracks. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned up, get it painted, and then I'll bolt it in for good. I'm going to reuse the lock washer that came off of it, but I am going to add a little bit of blue Loctite, which is semi-permanent. Again, just in case these ever have to come off to rebuild the seals in them. I'll get that one started, then I'll go get the wrenches and snug these up. Okay, I went ahead and at least slid the brackets over the ends of the 1.5 inch bar stock. Being a little impatient here, the paint's not quite dry yet. It's been about an hour. It's just kind of humid today, so it's not drying as quick as I would like it to. So I'll be doing a little touch up here after I get it bolted on. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get these bolts started, get these fender washers in there, get everything hand tight, make sure there's not going to be any clearance issues, and then I'll go ahead and snug everything up. Like I mentioned earlier, there's no torque specs on these. I checked on the AGT website. There's no owner manual. So I just went ahead and did everything hand tight so it felt right. The original ones that I took off, they weren't super tight, so I tried to do the equivalent on this. I do feel better about having a standard bolt head on here. It gives a lot more surface area to hold the drive motor onto the assembly down there. Also want to show you the clearance on this. It's fairly snug, but I think that really has to do with the fact that this is the QNT 30. I think the My 50R is going to be a similar situation due to the wider tracks, but that's enough clearance. I could get my finger in there, and that's about it. I also got a flashlight just to double check to make sure that the bar stock wasn't rubbing on the track or anything that's moving back there. And I have plenty of clearance, more so than I do out here between the track and the bracket. Here's a look at the final product. The total ground clearance is 5¼ inches. The actual drive motors themselves are about 3 inches off the ground. So this might or might not work for you. All depends on your environment and where you're going to be using this. But I think even if you're in a rocky environment where clearance is going to be a little bit snug, this is going to be plenty strong to withhold the test of time. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me. That wraps this one up. Now I have peace of mind knowing that those drive motors are protected. Next step, get this out to the property, put it to work. That's what I bought it for. I have a lot of projects out there. I know for some of y'all, you use this for business, landscapers, plumbers, sprinklers, that sort of thing. So this is more than just something that has to hold up on the weekends. This is something that is your livelihood. You got to depend on it every day. So for me, I'm super happy that there's aftermarket companies out there now that are supporting beefing these up, making them where they're going to last long haul for us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, leave them in the comments. If not, like and subscribe. That way all future videos, you will be notified. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you on the next one.